for the intro, can you keep our music the same, but then like fade it out into Jingle Bells? Because I want people.
Like this song?
No.
Like if you, like that, it'll get like banned.
No, not the song. Not Jingle Bells the song. Jingle Bells the instrument. Like, just I want them to recognize that it's behind the message music, but then Jingle Bells because it's Christmas.
So can you have like instruments of a thing, like instrumental covers, but not?
No, like, Jingle Bells.
Like a clip art?
I mean, bells that jingle. No, not clip art. Like the sound of Jingle Bells. The instrument.
You just want random bells.
No, Jingle Bells.
So what are we doing? All right, so at TCBC, we spend the month of December and lead up to Christmas, we celebrate Advent.
Yes.
So just not trying to give a scholar definition, but just a really practical thing. If you're listening, you go, what's that mean? What is it? When you think of Advent, what do you think about?
Yeah, well, when I think of Advent, first thing I think of, honestly, is remember to anticipate.
Yeah, we're trying really hard.
That is what our church does, and it's our tagline to help us really, I think, put some purpose behind our Christmas celebrations. So the word Advent literally means coming, and so we think about Jesus' first coming, and we think about when Jesus will come again. And so we have so many different things in our culture that are discipling the way that we think about Christmas, whether that's every commercial that we see that's telling you need to buy this thing, thinking about the things we want, thinking about the things we want to give, every celebration or party that kids will have at school and all of the stuff. It's all kind of oriented around self. And we say we celebrate Advent because we want to be oriented around Jesus. And we intentionally want to remember and celebrate when he came in order to anticipate when he comes again.
A little Bible trivia for you, for the audience. So remember when Andrew has this like kind of first encounter with Jesus and he immediately runs to Peter. Do you remember what he tells Peter, his brother?
No.
Oh, I wonder you do. You listen.
I should.
Yeah. Like I'm paraphrasing in a little bit too, but it's like, come, we found the Messiah.
Yeah.
We found the Christ, and so I want you to think about that. It's been silent for a long time, for 400 years. Throughout the Old Testament, they are waiting on the Messiah, the promised one. And as you come into New Testament, it's not like a direct parallel, but when you think of Christ, we tend to think of like lordship stuff, I think, most of the time. But Christ means the anointed one. When we celebrate Advent, when we look back at Christmas, there's the recognition that God takes flesh and reveals himself, makes himself known in the Son, God, man, fully, all that. That's an incredible thing. And you have this first coming. He takes our death, he conquers death, raised from the dead, and then ascends back to the Father. You and I now sit here, and we wait for his return. Mm-hmm. So I think about that sometimes with Andrew. And you kind of have this like first picture of like someone telling somebody about Jesus. And he runs to his brothers like, hey, you got to come check this out. You have to be waiting for this, for that to be on your mind. You know what I mean? You have to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
The scriptures teach us that those who are redeemed are eagerly waiting. It teaches us that we love his appearing. We are committed to his appearance. We long for his second coming.
Yeah.
Our life, our salvation is wrapped up into that. And so when we think of something as basic as Christmas, like Christ, right?
Yeah.
The anointed one came and is coming again, and the fulfillment of our salvation with him. And so as we just approach Christmas as a church, you said it, yes, there's all the traditions and all the family stuff and all this stuff, and it's just fun, and that's great. And there are even things in it that are very, quote-unquote, Christian. The nativity scenes and all the stuff that, that comes with that. You know, we've even got like the gospel things with the candy canes and all the kind of things you can put together around it. If Christmas does not set your mind forward, if it doesn't cause you to anticipate the return of Jesus, you don't understand it.
Yeah.
You really don't get it. So as a church, to kind of dig your heels in, stand firm, and hold for an understanding of Christmas that causes us to anticipate the second coming is such a sweet thing. And so this year, you, your families, and conversations, don't just make Christmas something that causes you to look back.
Right.
But we really want Christmas to stir in us an anticipation to look forward. And so we've got all kinds of resources, all kinds of things as a church to help one another do that. Just, I know you can't cover them all, but like take a few minutes and just like tell us what's there, how do we use it, what are some of your favorites, what are you excited about?
Yes.
You know, that kind of a thing. We've moved from like we've had cookies, and now we've got hot chocolate.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've got all kinds of fun stuff. Anyway, you go.
Yeah. So, a couple things. First one is the reading plan. So, again, it helps us just be in the Word, and it helps us consider and meditate. So, we have a reading plan all year long, but in this one in particular, it not only tells you something to read, but it also will give you something to ponder, pray, or practice. So, just to help us kind of continue in those spiritual disciplines throughout December. I am really excited about this reading plan. So it's broken up into weeks, as you know, the calendar is. And so the first week is really focusing on prophecies, both made about and fulfilled by Jesus. Then we have the second week that walks through the I am statements that Jesus makes in the Gospel of John, because the big truth that week is Jesus is fully God. So the reason that Jesus says, I am all of these things, reveals his divinity, his deity. We have the third week, big truth, Jesus is fully man. So we walk through Luke's narrative of Christ's first coming. And then the last week really is looking forward, and it's scriptures that will set our hope towards Jesus is coming again. So I'm really excited about the reading plan, really intentional in kind of how it is put together. And so
they're online, and they can get them like a print version too.
Yes,
right?
You can get the print version. They're all over campus. I put them everywhere. And then, yes, you can get them online also.
It's at tcbchurch.org/Advent.
Advent, yes. So also on that website, there are several other things, some articles just to help you think about ways to talk about Jesus at like a family gathering. There's things for kids. And then we also have our Advent family kits. And so you mentioned the hot chocolate. Each of the things in the kits really is just designed as a way to help you think, how can we remember to anticipate? How can we be intentional as a family to look outside of ourselves, to not be so focused on, again, the things that we want, the fun, just distractions that are all around us. And I mean, that are not bad, but how can we be more intentional in those things? So the hot chocolate is meant to help you think about having a gospel conversation. Make hot chocolate, invite someone over into your home as a way to share Christ with them. One of my favorites in that, what?
Do you put marshmallows in your hot chocolate?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot or a little bit?
It depends on my mood for the day. Sometimes, whipped cream, candy cane.
Have you ever had anybody like put like spicy stuff, like?
I would not like that.
No.
I can't.
I want to know. Let us know if you put anything like
Weird.
odd. Yeah, I mean, it probably isn't odd to you. It's normal to you. But like, if you put like mustard in your hot chocolate, that's odd to me. I would like to know that.
Give us your best hot chocolate recipes. I think that's what Daniel's asking for.
Yeah.
We want them all.
They
anyway.
put those little like. You remember those old like I don't know what they're called. Like they're candies. They're like hot like those little atomic things. They're like red and round and they're hot. Never mind. Anyway.
Like hot tamales?
No.
I have no idea what you're
They put
talking about.
those. They put them in apple butter too, but I think people put those in hot chocolate too. Anyway, moving on.
My favorite thing in the kit is a spool of ribbon, and so the idea behind the ribbon is that you would take it and you would tie bows in conspicuous places in your house, whether that's like a refrigerator handle or a hairbrush or a toy or your wrist or the steering wheel. And every time you see one of the bows throughout the month of December, it is meant to lead you to pause and pray, thank Jesus that he came and that he is coming again. And what do you want to say? I can see your eyes.
No. I heard about this at my house. This worked. My mom, who helps out in kids ministry, they had a kit that came back. And so Lena sits on the counter, and my mom's reaction was, "Oh, are we going to put bows everywhere?" Yay. And I was like, "What?" And then she explained it to me. There we go. That's it. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite ones. Again, just to help us set our minds on Jesus, his coming and his coming again.
Got it. Anything else?
No, that's all I have to say.
That's all?
Yeah.
All right, so look, if you will, go to the website, tcbchurch.org/Advent, and just familiarize what's there. There are the kits that are still available at the church. Pick those up and make the next few weeks go beyond just the surface stuff and really help model with one another, with your kids, with the people you work with, to look forward. We saw that in Philippians. I press on to what lies ahead. That's what we do as Christians. We look forward in that. And so of all times a year that we should be able to anticipate his return, Christmas should stir that up. You mentioned John. We're going to be in John throughout this whole Advent season, and we're just going to work through John chapter 1. It's a really sweet passage because, think about it, if you're John, you can introduce Jesus, and he chooses to introduce Jesus as the Word. And so let's just take a minute, and just as a way to kind of set our mind ahead, you read for us, read through verse 18. So chapter 1, verse 1, all the way through verse 18.
Yeah. John says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness, to bear witness about the light, that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to bear witness about the light. The true light, which gives light to everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own people did not receive him. But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness about him and cried out, 'This was he of whom I said, he who comes after me ranks before me, because he was before me. For from his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. For the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, the only God who is at the Father's side. He has made him known.'"
He has made him known. I think that's my big takeaway that I want you to listen to and just pay attention as we study through this section of John in December. The Word became flesh. Yeah. Dwelt among us, and has revealed the glory of God. He's revealed himself to us. As we think about Christmas and we remember what it is that God took flesh, he didn't just give a sign. It wasn't just like, oh, here's like a telegraph.
Right.
He took flesh, dwelt among us that we might know him, that he might redeem us and call us to himself. And I just think that is inexhaustible when you think about the love, when you think about, again, he took suffering in that. He lowered himself in that for us. So there's so much in verse 14 there that the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Just give that thought in Christmas and what it means that God has made himself known. Really just a powerful thought. We'll unpack that over the next month. What do you got? What do you look forward to?
Yeah, so here's a challenge for us, and this is something that challenged me. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm in high school. I've been hanging out and teaching our high schoolers this semester, and we do like a sermon review at the beginning of our launch AM. So this was during Neighbors and Nations. We're doing the sermon review, and one of the things that one of our high school students said was about his takeaway from Neighbors and Nations was that one of the things that he has realized he needs to grow in is just being more open to talking about spiritual things in everyday life. and not feeling like that needs to be a separate, like set aside conversation. And this is what this kid says. He says, I've been working on this for about a month now. And it was weird at first, but now I think the people in my life have just come to expect this from me. And that was so cool and just incredible in his life, but also really challenging, I think, for all of us. Like when we think about Christmas, Advent, and the opportunities that we have to interact with other people, I hope that we say the same thing. The people around me have just come to expect. I am going to talk about Jesus. I'm going to talk about that he is coming again. I'm going to be that kind of person. That's going to be the things that characterize my life and my conversations. And so I think that's a challenge for us. That's what this podcast is designed to do, is to start those conversations. And so continue them in your families, in your groups, with your coworkers, every setting that you have.
Yeah, we have 2 holidays in the calendar that make it so incredibly easy, that take away every excuse that we would like to give about just making Jesus known to coworkers and family and friends. It's really hard as a Christian to say why you celebrate Christmas and not talk about Jesus.
That's right.
And so go talk about Jesus. We love you guys. Merry Christmas.